Thank you, Madam Speaker. Congress created the Department of Justice. Congress funds the Department of Justice, and Congress is responsible for the oversight of the Department of Justice. When will we see justice? I'll tell you what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations in the Epstein files, over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things, so much of it redacted. Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide. But I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Department of Justice. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, who has since been stripped of his royal titles due to his affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, has been arrested. Peter Mandelson, who previously served as UK's ambassador to the United States, resigned in disgrace from United Kingdom's House of Lords and the Labour Party, and he's been arrested. Former Prime Minister of Norway, Torbjørn Jagland, has been charged. But we don't see any charges, arrests, or investigations in the United States. What do we see? We see our FBI director celebrating in the locker room at the Olympics overseas. It's fine to be proud of this country, but we should be proud of this country because we have a system of justice that works. And yet we do not. Who are the men that should be investigated? I'll name them right here. Leon Black. You don't even have to see past the redactions to see that this man needs to be investigated. Jess Staley, accused of terrible things. It's right there in the files. Why is he not being investigated? And Leslie Wexner. Why did the FBI list him as a co-conspirator in their own documents in a child sex trafficking case, and then tell him, according to him, that they had no questions for him? Why is that? Well, the Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the DOJ and the FBI to disclose to us their internal memos and emails about how they made those decisions, whether to prosecute or not prosecute. Yet they have not delivered those memos. And we still don't have the memos and documents and emails from 2008 to explain why Jeffrey Epstein was given such a light sentence in what would have been an open and shut case of child sex trafficking, which allowed him to go back and recommit these terrible crimes, create hundreds of more victims, and ensnare so many other people in his conspiracy. Where are those documents that describe those decisions? We need justice. We want the Department of Justice to get to work, and that's what they need to do now. Madam Speaker, I rise today to let the American people know that this government is under siege. All 3 branches of this government is under siege by lobbyists and lawyers from a German company named Bayer. They spent over $9 million lobbying the executive branch and the legislative branch so that they don't have to be liable for any damages that their herbicide causes, otherwise known as Roundup. And they're having some success. Now, they haven't had any success yet in this chamber to get that immunity. They've had some success in the state legislatures, which are also under siege, to get this immunity from liability. Look, the Constitution guarantees people a trial if they've been harmed. Why are we contemplating going against the Constitution? The Attorney General has opined favorably for this German company in front of the Supreme Court about getting rid of any liability that they should have for any damages. And the most recent thing that we've seen, the executive branch. By the way, the President's Chief of Staff and the President's Attorney General work for one of the biggest lobbying firms that's received hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars from Bayer. And maybe that's why we've seen an executive order that says that the production of this chemical from this German company is a national defense priority. And we know why they're doing that. It's to keep them from having any liability. Everybody in this country deserves their day in court. This is wrong. We shouldn't succumb to the lobbyists, not in the executive branch, not in the judicial branch, and certainly not here in Congress and not in the state legislatures, but there's a lot of money at play. And I implore my colleagues to resist it and do not give them immunity. And I yield back.
Madam Speaker, and still I rise. I rise today to state the State of the Union. Madam Speaker, the State of the Union is fragile. It is fragile because we have a president who does not respect democracy. He believes that he can go to war at will without conferring with the Congress of the United States of America. He believes that there is no such thing as separation of powers. He believes that if he thinks it's right, then the courts have to agree. He doesn't believe in due process of the law. He would have people be picked up on the streets, taken off to some distant place without any indication as to where they are, such that family members can understand that they are at least okay. He is a reckless, ruthless president. And what he is doing at the top has influenced things all the way down the line to the very bottom. We now have officers who have taken the lives of two people, two Americans, Madam Speaker, unarmed, Madam Speaker, not a threat, Madam Speaker. Two American citizens have lost their lives, and we've just moved on. Madam Speaker, our democracy is at risk because we have a president who disrespects the rule of law. He believes that if the ends can justify the means, then any means are available to him to utilize to do whatever he chooses. And if we allow this to continue, Madam Speaker, the Constitution will be meaningless. There is but one solution to a reckless, ruthless, lawless president. It has to be utilized because we want history to show that we had the courage to do what was right. And Dr. King has given us the notion that the time is always right to do what is right. And there is but one solution, and that solution is impeachment, trial and conviction. But if not trial and convictions, impeachment, so that those who look through the vista of time will understand that we took a stand against a reckless, ruthless, lawless president. Madam Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.